I just finished my last day of medical school. Damn, that hits different. My name is Jake Goodman. I am a fourth-year medical student. I am a doctor. I'm not sure what I am at this point. I have completed medical school, but I have not graduated and received a piece of paper that says MD. So give me a month and then I am Dr. Jake Goodman. I literally just walked in from my last shift of medical school and this feels so surreal. You're just getting the raw reflections right now, y'all. It's been a decade journey, 4 years of pre-med, a gap year, 4 years of medical school, an MBA thrown in there. I've learned so much along this journey, and I want to share with all of you right now the advice I have for you, the insight, the lessons learned along my journey that I hope can help you as a pre-med or as a medical student or really wherever you're at in your journey. I think this is applicable to a lot of different fields. I've failed before, I've succeeded. I've figured out kind of what works. I'm still learning, but I hope that this video is helpful for you. So here is my raw reflection on my final day of medical school. Let's get it. This is a long journey, fam. 4 years of pre-med. If you get right in from college, I had to take a year off before I got in because I didn't get in the first time. Got denied by 25 medical school. It took me 2 years to get in. But if you get in the first time around, that's 4 years, right? Then 4 years of medical school. Then if you do residency, 3 to 7 years of residency, you might do a fellowship. It's another year, 2, 3. Then you're an attending. It's a long road. And I'm middle to, I guess past the midway point, right? It's a long journey. And if you are not enjoying the journey, it will be miserable. In medicine in particular, I found that there is a prevailing theory or sort of mindset that once you get to blank, then things will get better, or then you'll be happier. For example, once you finish the MCAT, then things will get better. Or once you get into medical school, then you'll be happy. And then once you finish medical school and you go in residency, then you'll be happy. Once you take your step 2, step 3 board exam, then things will be good. And I've seen so many people fall into that trap, and I've fallen into that trap before. And so one of my biggest pieces of advice here, guys, and I know this may sound a little cliche because a lot of people say this because it's the truth. I've heard J. Cole rap about this. Philosophers have philosophized about this. Enjoy the journey. The beauty is in the journey. The journey is the happy part. The end, there really may be no end. What's the end? You become an attending? Well, then you're a first year attending and everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy's new around here. Oh, she's new. She's not going to know what's up. Well, maybe you've been there for 10 years. Then what are you looking forward to? Retirement? Trying to break out of that pattern is so important. And I was in that pattern in college, so I know. Try your best, and I know it's easier said than done, but enjoy the journey. Enjoy the little things. You'll take so many tests along the journey. You'll take board exam after board exam. I've taken step 1, step 2 CK, CS, RIP, CS. That test is no longer available. You guys lucked out. There are so many tests. There's so many things that are going to challenge you. But you really got to do your best to enjoy the journey and enjoy the little things. Try to be open to change. And I say this from someone that wasn't very open to change when I first got to medical school. I had my head down. I was going to be either a plastic surgeon or an ophthalmologist. Why? Because that's all I've been exposed to. I've shadowed plastic surgeons. I worked as an ophthalmology technician for a year. That's all I knew. But when I got into medical school, I started seeing some of these other incredible specialties. I fell in love with mental health and fell in love with psychiatry. And thank God, I was open to change and eventually realized maybe I don't want to become an ophthalmologist. Maybe I really want to pursue this passion, which brings me to my next point. Finding your passion is the key to life. I haven't figured out everything in life. I've probably figured out 0.001%. But the things that I have figured out, that is a major key. If you find your passion in life, life gets so much sweeter. You wake up every morning excited to get on with your day and learn as much as you can and help people. I found my passion. My passion is mental health. It's advocating for mental health, is mental health policy, is therapy, is everything with mental health. And I didn't know I had that passion until I stumbled across it. So really do your best to just try to look up. Don't stay so focused on one thing. Even if you've wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon for the last 20 years, Maybe you'll love neurology or OBGYN or psychiatry. Along this journey, it's very important to protect your image. So what do I mean by that? You're going to become a doctor. Or maybe you're watching this and you want to become a nurse. Maybe you want to become a lawyer. And if so, thanks for watching me, all you pre-law people. I didn't think I had a pre-law audience. You know what I mean, guys. If you want to become something in society, whatever that may be, in 2021 and beyond, protecting your image is so important. Watch your social media use. Watch what I do on social media. I've learned over the last year to really brand myself as a professional on there, even though I was a student. I was a professional student. I cited my sources. I wasn't posting anything unprofessional on there. Eyes are on you. Even if you have an account with 100 followers, there are people watching. There are employers in the future that are going to be looking you up, Googling you. Make sure that you have a LinkedIn and make sure it's up to date. You don't have to have a LinkedIn, but it helps. If you have a Twitter, make it professional. If you want to have a fun account on Instagram, that's awesome, but private it and make it small and just have your friends on there. But branding yourself on social media for your future employers, for the medical school that wants to look at you, for the residency that wants to look at you, for the job 10 years down the line that's going to Google you, really important. So try to stay out of trouble and brand yourself in a professional way. Medical school can suck. Medical school can be awesome. It ebbs and flows, y'all. There are times that are horrible and they suck, and I hated it. There are times where it's been amazing, and I come home and I tell my fiance, Ari, how amazing my day was and how I saw this amazing thing and this thing I read about in a book, but now I saw it in real life and I had an impact on somebody today. It ebbs and flows, and it's never perfect and it's never all bad. And so I wish, I could tell myself as I was coming into medical school to really just be like water. Take the bad with the good. If there's a horrible attending you're working with that's yelling at you, know that it's a temporary thing. Say to yourself, I'm just going to get through this because I know what kind of doctor I don't want to be, and I don't want to be like you. And then the next week you may have an incredible attending that really invests in you and teaches you not only from a medical sense, but teaches you how to be a doctor and teaches you how to talk to patients. And think to yourself, this is what I want to be like. Write down notes. This is a journey, a 4-year journey where you're really discovering what kind of doctor you want to be. And I don't just mean specialty. I mean, how do you want to be with patients? Do you want to talk with patients a long time? Do you want to really invest in them? Do you want to know them so well? You got to figure out what kind of doctor you want to be. So be like water. It's going to be sucky sometimes. It's going to be great sometimes, but just flow with it. Just flow with it. And eventually you'll finish your last day like I just did. Self-care is the most important thing in medical school. Reading, studying for your board exams, working with your patients, these are all super important things. But self-care is more important than any of them. You can't treat a patient if you're not treating yourself. You matter most. That's the phrase that I use with the mental health movement and that Zach and I have really been talking about this last year. You matter most. You can't help somebody else if you aren't helping yourself. And so self-care is the most important thing in medical school. Find what works for you. I do yoga 4 times a week. I love yoga. Maybe you don't love yoga. That's fine. You don't have to do yoga. I also meditate. I do sports. I play soccer 2 or 3 times a week. I work out. I know what works for me. For some people, it's reading for leisure. It's art. You got to find an escape, because if you're just living for medicine and you're just going to work and going home and going to sleep, it's probably not going to be a very fun life. You got to have outlets. You got to have ways to de-stress. And also, you got to make sure you're connecting with friends that are, in the struggle and the journey with you, but also those friends that maybe are not in medical school, because you don't always want to be talking about medical school. You want to be talking about parties or sports or Kim Kardashian. I don't know. I don't really talk about Kim Kardashian. Does anyone talk about Kim Kardashian? Ari, do you talk about Kim Kardashian? Relationship advice. All right, I'm really in no position to give relationship advice. I've got a great relationship, but I'm no therapist yet. I'll tell you what works for me, and maybe you can get some insight from this. Being in a relationship in medical school is very difficult. I absolutely advise it. It's amazing. But you're either dating somebody within medical school, that's really in the grind with you, or within healthcare, or maybe you're dating somebody that's not. And I think the most important thing in a relationship, whether you're dating someone in healthcare or not, is that they're understanding of the pressures that you're going to go through as a medical student and as a doctor. There are long hours, long tests, studying. You may not be able to attend all the things that you want to attend. Birthday parties, weddings, celebrations. You may be on call. You maybe have a big assignment to do. And so it's really important that someone is very understanding of the sacrifices that you have to make in this profession. If you happen to be in a relationship that's a very dramatic, toxic relationship where you're constantly thinking about the fights, the drama with your significant other while you're studying for tests, while you're taking a board exam, while you're in the hospital working with patients, it can have a serious negative impact on your mental health and your performance. I'm biased because I'm engaged to somebody that's in my medical school class. Shout out Ari. Shout out my plant, Theodora. It's a complicated relationship. And so I'm a strong believer in finding somebody within medicine, although there are plenty of amazing relationships with people outside of medicine. It's just amazing to be with someone that really gets it, that knows that, hey, you got to grind right now, you got to study. That's one of the best things about my relationship. A quick note about friendships. You'll meet some amazing people in medical school, some friends that will become your lifelong friends. Well, you'll go to their wedding, you'll be with them 10 years down the line. I have met some of my favorite people in medical school. I'm actually about to go play top golf with one of them now. So shout out Hannah. I got to go in about 5 minutes, but I just wanted to say that you will find some amazing friends in medical school that are just as passionate about a subject as you, and it's going to be a great experience for you. Studying. You will learn how to study smart. I did a previous video about studying smart and not studying hard. Studying smarter, not harder. So check that out. I don't even know how to link YouTube clips in here. So if I can figure it out, click the link. If not, just search it afterwards. But it's really important to find out how to do that. And it takes time. You got to be patient. It may take you a year to figure out how to study smart. It took me about a year really in medical school of practicing and finding the active learning styles that work for me until I finally got it, and then it clicked. And second year I did really well. First year I did okay. Second year I crushed because I finally figured out what worked for me. Board exams. Let's talk about board exams. Board exams suck. Period. But they're unfortunately necessary along this journey. Some good news is that USMLE Step 1 is now pass-fail. You may say that's good news, bad news. I'm not one to, that's a subject for a different video. But that does take a lot of the pressure off Step 1, which was, in my opinion, some of the worst times of medical school. So that you got good news there. You also have really great news if you are entering this journey as a new medical student, or you're maybe your first or second year right now. USMLE Step 2 CS is now canceled. That was $1,500 I'll never get back. So the MCAT, Step 1 and Step 2. Step 3 once you're in residency, but the first three I said are the ones that you'll handle when you're pre-med and medical school years. They're very difficult tests. They're very stressful. I lost so much sleep over these tests. I studied so hard for these tests, and I promise you, you will get through it. In the beginning of the video, I talked about enjoying the journey. It's really hard to enjoy the journey when you're 2 weeks out from taking Step 1 and you're studying 13 hours a day. And the most fun thing you do in a day is get your 20-minute run in, or watch a Netflix show before bed. It's easier to enjoy the journey when those tests are behind you. I understand that. They're a temporary sacrifice for really a permanent reward. Once those tests are done, they're done. You don't have to go take Step 1 again, Step 2 again. You'll knock it out. Just, you got this. I believe in you. Reach out if you have any questions. All right, last thing here, some financial insight. When I first got to medical school, I was really living on a very small budget. I took out full loans. I could not afford to pay for medical school, but I was really budgeting, so I only had blank dollars a week, and I was shopping at a store where I was getting just, not the food that I normally would get at home. I was really cutting corners just to get the bare minimum, and I was miserable. And I had taken out just enough loans to, survive. That second year, I said, screw this. If I'm going to be working so hard, if I'm going to be working 60 plus hours a week, 80 hours a week, grinding, studying, I need to be able to eat the food I want to eat, and I'm going to take out an additional loan. I took out a loan above the standard Stafford loan. I took out the Grad Plus loan. That loan is something I'm going to have to pay for, and I ended up taking that again third and fourth year. But it allowed me to just live a little more free. And yes, the interest rate is a little bit higher on that loan, and yes, I'm going to have to repay that. But medical school is hard enough. You really don't want to be, unable to go out to dinner with your friends because you're really trying to save money. Saving money is so important, but there's a middle ground. And I think I was too far on one end of the spectrum, and I found some middle ground and found the ability to go relax, after a test and go out to a restaurant with my friends and afford the food I really wanted to afford. So trust me, guys, I get it. I'm in massive debt too. We'll continue to play the game of Guess My Debt. Go ahead and guess my debt in the comment section below. And if you get it right, I'll give you a prize, which will not be money because I'm very much in debt. That's it, y'all. This has been an incredible journey. It really has been. I've met some of the most amazing people. I'm marrying one of them. I'm late to Topgolf with one of them, and she's about to call me right now. I've learned so much about the body and pharmacology and psychiatry, mental health, and I wouldn't trade any of it. I would do it all over again. I don't have any regrets either. Everything I did, the mistakes that I made were learning lessons for me along the journey so that I'm able to speak on videos like this and tell you guys all the things that I wish I would have known. If you like this video, let me know. I'll do another video next week. Next week is match week. Match week is when I find out if I am accepted into residency and where that may be. So send me some good vibes. Send Ari some good vibes. We're couples matching. Maybe I'll do a video on that. But it's all out of our hands now. We've done everything we can over this last decade to prepare, and we find out if I become Dr. Jake Goodman next week. Send me some good vibes, fam. Love you guys. Peace.